Next on Worcester News Tonight, in honor of World Refugee Day, a celebration held in the city. Plus, the city stepping up efforts to defend against cybersecurity attacks. A look at how a new training will help employees be more aware. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. Friday, a group in Worcester celebrates the United Nations annual World Refugee Day. Thousands of people have been forced to leave their home countries and settle elsewhere, including here in Massachusetts. Our Kim Jandro was at today's ceremonies and has the story.
Mary Trung was only 14 when she left Vietnam as a refugee in the 1970s. Now, she's the executive director of the state's Office for Refugees and Immigrants.
It's a bittersweet, remembering the difficulties and the challenges of not knowing where you're going to end up and whether you'll be safe.
Trung was one of many in Worcester Friday, celebrating World Refugee Day. The American Immigration Council reports more than 22,000 refugees came to the U.S. in 2018, and 18,000 have already been admitted so far in 2019.
It's also recognizing and honoring the strength, the determination, the courage of refugees who have escaped danger.
At Friday's celebration, the message was simple: accept refugees as part of the community.
We should be able to share ideas. So if one person may be a refugee and new to the country, who not better to assist them than their own neighbors?
They're so happy to have an opportunity to kind of get back on their feet and integrate into the local community, and we're just happy to be a part of it.
Trung says at the end of the day, she hopes everyone can recognize the contribution of refugees in America.
Whether it's the diversity of culture, the language, and workforce, certainly, and the history of the United States, the country wouldn't be as rich as it is today.
Now, World Refugee Day was created by the United Nations in 2019. The theme is #StepUpWithRefugees. The UN is encouraging people to be more welcoming of the refugees in their community. In Worcester, I'm Kim Jandro, Worcester News Tonight.
A federal court judge has ruled to temporarily ban federal immigration agents from arresting people at Massachusetts courthouses. This comes after a lawsuit was filed against ICE in the spring. The people who filed it say defendants were too afraid to go to court. Our Rosalind Flaherty has more on how this could affect people here in Massachusetts.
Centro's president and CEO says he knows people who feared going to courthouses because there was a possibility immigration and customs enforcement officers could take them into custody.
Many of the people who are here now in the United States, undocumented, came here as children. And so in many cases, they were not even aware that they were here undocumented.
A federal judge has blocked immigration authorities from arresting undocumented immigrants in Massachusetts courthouses. The move is a response to a lawsuit public defenders and prosecutors filed against ICE. They say defendants and witnesses are too afraid to show up for their court dates.
So far, on a preliminary injunction, ICE is not allowed to come unless somebody has been arrested, sentenced, and is now being released from a sentence, then ICE can still come.
Immigration attorney Randy FELDMAN says the preliminary injunction is a big win for immigrants' rights and the judicial system. He says the lawsuit is a fight over who will take charge.
Is it going to be the judicial system of Massachusetts' concerns about getting ultimate justice, or is it going to be the ICE, federal government's Immigration and Customs Enforcement's concerns about getting everyone who shouldn't be in the country out of the country? That was the debate. That's the fight. And right now, the criminal justice system of Massachusetts is winning.
An ICE spokesperson says the agency is reviewing the court's decision and has no further comment. President Donald Trump has slammed the two prosecutors who brought the case, saying they are people who probably don't mind crime. Meanwhile, Centro's CEO agrees this is a big win for immigrants and applauds the courage of the people who filed the lawsuit.
People have the right to due process in this country, whether they are citizens or not.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
A Worcester startup has received a grant from NASA to help them in their mission to land on the moon. When it comes to new technology, NASA is interested in advanced materials, which are both lighter and stronger. Multiscale Systems is an advanced material firm who says they provide just this. NASA is funding Multiscale Systems to develop crash protection materials for urban air mobility vehicles, or flying cars.
In aerospace and in trying to get from Earth to the Moon to the Mars, of course what you want are lighter and stronger vehicles. Lighter to be more energy efficient, stronger so that you can withstand the stresses to be able to get from here to there.
So far, Multiscale Systems says they've raised $250,000 from the National Science Foundation and NASA and says they plan to raise 10 times that in the next year. The city joins more than 80 others across the country to kick off the official start of summer with the Make Music event. Concerts featuring local bands, music lessons, and open mics took place at parks throughout the city. The global music celebration takes place on the summer solstice each year and brings people of all ages and skill levels together to make music.
So we programmed activities in 4 parks, one of them being this. Elm Park, University Park, with kids activities, free drumming lessons, and harmonicas and stuff like that, so that everyone can participate whether they're a musician or not.
Organizers say every year this event gets bigger and bigger, and this year Worcester hosted 69 musicians. Worcester police are looking for a suspect they say assaulted a store clerk. Police posted these surveillance photos of the male suspect. They say he entered the Honey Farms on Millbury Street around 11:30 Tuesday night and repeatedly assaulted the clerk. The suspect forced the clerk to open the register and took an undisclosed amount of money. Anyone with information is asked to contact police. In an effort to make people more aware of cyber attacks, Worcester has begun training all employees on what to look for and what to avoid. The city says attacks on municipalities have become more common, and they want to make sure they're one step ahead. Our Chandler Walsh has the details.
All it takes is one click on a bad link, and an entire city's information could be taken by hackers.
It's like an epidemic out there, and it's happening on a daily basis to cities and towns.
The city of Worcester is increasing cybersecurity efforts, training all 1,600 employees.
The weakest link is the employee. So they're the ones that are going to receive those fake emails. They're the ones that are going to be tricked into clicking on a link or providing the information because they think it's from a known source.
Suzanne Zargis is Worcester's cybersecurity training specialist. She'll finish the first round of training by the end of the month.
So they can see firsthand a number of red flags that they should be looking for in every email that comes through.
Zargis says hackers could steal data from one or more department, anything from archives to email to electronic records, and hold it for ransom.
Think of everything we use on a daily basis that is connected to the internet or involves technology and not having access to that.
Attacks cost victims millions of dollars, resources, and time. Chief Information Officer Eileen Kazaropol says the city has had to shut down the internet to fight against viruses and says several fake emails go to city employees each month.
We'll send it out from the help desk to all the users, letting them know that this is the latest, fake email that's circulating the city.
Cyber criminals also target hospitals, schools, and corporations. Kazaropol says the criminals are resourceful, so they want to stay one step ahead.
They're doing their homework. They're looking at what departments have sensitive, confidential financial information, and they're targeting those departments.
Kazaropol says the FBI frowns on paying ransom, but some municipalities or groups have no other choice. Zargis says cybercrime is now more profitable than the global trade of all illegal drugs combined. Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
Worcester School Committee approves the district's final budget for fiscal year 2020. The more than $420 million budget is an almost 5% increase from the previous year. Some of the highlights include the addition of 23 more teachers at the middle and high school levels to address enrollment increases and course offer needs. The budget also allows for the hiring of a chief diversity officer. The new position will help support the district's strategic plan goal of investing in educators by increasing the number of highly qualified teacher candidates and recruiting educators knowledgeable in instruction in urban environments.